We on? Whoa. Whoa, that's hot. Hot, 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 hot. Hey, yo, the Boston Celtics are NBA champions officially this time. Last time we were sitting here, we had already crowned them champions. They had gone up 3-0. We said it's over. It's done. The Mavericks said not so fast for exactly one game. One game they said the series isn't over quite yet. And then they're like, you know what? It's over. It's over. Here you go, Boston. Banner number 18 is on its way. The Boston Celtics have won. We will talk about the NBA Finals and legacies and frauds and I don't know what else. What else you supposed to talk? And who should the MVP should have been?
The ultimate one-on-one battle down the stretch of who can win it.
Right. What other things you're supposed to do at the end of a NBA champion? Like legacies, frauds, where this team stacks up, which I guess is sort of legacies, but like dynasty.
Yep.
Or is this the start of a budding dynasty? We'll talk about it all. Yeah, greatest team ever.
Also, we're probably going to have to predict Luka injury reports.
We'll talk about all of it. First, I want to talk about Roback Activewear. You know how much we love Roback. It's summer. We are living in Roback. Chicago summers can get toasty. Boy, today was a great example of that. Whew. But Roback keeps us comfortable through it all. You can count on seeing both of us at the beach or on a boat rocking the new Roback swim trunks. They are simply the best swim trunks on the market. They have built-in boxer brief liner that is so comfortable. Second, the Roback everyday shorts are unmatched. There are no shorts on the market quite like them. You can wear a polo untucked with them for a clean look or put on a tee and go play pickleball, enjoy a long walk, or wear them out and about. Finally, Roback polos are the only polos we wear. The collar is crisp. The fabric is moisture-wicking for those hot summer days, and the designs are incredible. So use code SPORTS on Roback.com for a generous 20% off for all new customers through the end of this week. RHOBACK.com, 20% off all polo shorts and swim trunks with code SPORTS, Roback.com. Excuse me, the Boston Celtics, 106-88, take Game 5, win the championship. The Celtics, this is a culmination of an era that the Celtics have, really like the Brad Stevens era, I guess. It's kind of how I view it, like he was hired. That's how I view it. I wonder why. Others would draw the line at like the Jason Tatum era. Mm-hmm. Wherever you want to start the process, it feels like it's been a very slow climb. It feels like at times the Celtics have been very close, and then they've taken a couple steps back and never quite got to the mountaintop. They did it. They got to the mountaintop, and dare I say, kind of boring.
Convincing fashion.
That's how we should put it, because we have given them their credit on like the brand of basketball they play is very exciting. They are very good. When I say the playoffs and the finals were boring, I just mean that as like a compliment to the Celtics. Like they're so good that like
that's the most well-deserved champion I've seen in a really long time.
Yeah,
like in the NBA, they walked through what people could honestly say was a lighter schedule in the East. But heading into the NBA Finals there were people saying that this Kyrie and Luka backcourt was one of the best of all time. More people were picking the Mavericks to win coming off those Eastern and Western Conference Finals than the Celtics in the national media, and they cleaned their clocks. That was as nice of a gentleman's sweep. That's a textbook gentleman.
That's as good. Yeah, that's as nice as it gets. That's incredible. They lost by, was it 38 Game 4?
I'm never been more convinced now.
They were down 38.
It was like with a third worst.
I don't know. I'll be honest. I turned it off. I was like, this game's over.
It was like the second least viewed finals in like the last 100 years. No, that they all got together and they said, let's clinch this at home.
Yeah.
That's.
Which I was really surprised by, but that just probably speaks to like how much better they knew they were than the Mavs. Mm-hmm. But I just thought like given all the heartbreaks the Celtics have endured through recent years, I just figured they would lock in. They're like, the time is now. Let's go just try to win in Dallas. We can't afford to give games away. Mm-hmm. But yeah, they could, and they smoked the Mavs tonight. Luka was terrible. Luka was dog shit tonight. Kyrie was not good, and as we've talked about all series, like if those two guys aren't playing their best, the Mavs kind of have no shot, unless the Celtics mail it in. But yeah, it was as convincing as it gets. I think the entire playoffs, and again, I'm not saying this is like a, I don't know, people who, when you win a title and then people start talking about how boring, or that's just the word that comes to mind. Mm-hmm. I don't even really mean that.
What do you mean by that? Are you saying just because?
I mean, I knew the Celtics were the best team all year. It felt like the Celtics were the favorites to win the championship, and what you want to see is them be challenged. You want to see you want to see like two Goliaths running into each other. That's why I think I wanted to see the Nuggets, because I do think the Nuggets would have given the Celtics a much better series. The Celtics probably would have still beat the Nuggets. The Nuggets had their chance. I don't mean to suggest that Cody's walking in with the MVP. Is this breaking news?
I don't think the NBA's announced it yet.
Cody handed me he just wrote MVP on this sheet.
Predictions?
This is actually kind of exciting.
Yeah, that was a good job,
Cody. All right.
Oh, here you go.
Good job. This was a good idea. This actually was a good idea. This is a good idea because now I have.
Yeah, you don't have to do it yet.
I don't want to. Yeah.
Are we talking MVP yet, or are we talking? We're still going Celtics.
Let's talk about the other, and then we'll talk, and then we'll do the MVP thing.
I got thoughts on that.
Yeah, because I keep going to the word boring, and I don't feel like that's fair, because then I put myself in the Celtics fans' shoes, and they're like, what do you think we're boring? Like, you're not. It's not. They're very fun to watch. I think my ideal scenario with March Madness, with the NBA Finals, with basketball in general, is like you have a juggernaut team. You have a team that people say cannot be beat. This is the number one team. This is the top dog. But you have that second level of that are like going to push them. And they have to go out and...
And they didn't have to at all.
No.
I mean, they were... So I think that they 4-1... No, they 4-1 the Heat without Jimmy.
Right.
And then they 4-1 the Cavs. Halfway through the series, Donovan Mitchell shuts down. Jared Allen doesn't play. They 4-0 the Pacers. Halliburton doesn't play at the end. And then they 4-1 the Mavericks. And it's like, am I wrong? I can't believe I'm saying this out loud. It sounds stupid. They were so dominant through that it like hurts my opinion of their title because they never had to battle adversity.
Yeah, I don't like that.
But like they never had to like get in the crunch time and overcome. They never had adversity that they had to overcome.
But that reminds me of like UConn the last 2 years in college basketball, where it's like, I mean, you want us to apologize for being so much better than everybody. And I think on top of it, the other wrinkle for the Celtics, because like if you want to point to like guys being hurt each round for the Celtics, like the playoffs as a whole weren't really that exciting. We had a couple game sevens. One of them was a total blowout. Not a total, like the Timberwolves. I shouldn't have said a blowout, but like the Timberwolves like just ran away with the Nuggets game 7. That was a good game, and then like the Timberwolves flipped the switch, and it was like if they would have played another 20 minutes of that game, the Timberwolves would have won by 50.
Right.
So like that was kind of exciting, but that series altogether stunk in terms of like individual games.
Pacers Knicks went 7, and then
Knicks, yeah, and then Thunder Mavs went 7, right?
Went 6.
That went 6?
Went 6, yep. 4-2.
That didn't go 7.
I believe it went 6. Thunder Mavs.
Did I misremember that?
Check me on that. I think what you're remembering that went 7 might have been...
Was it supposed to go 7?
Might have been the playoff series of the year, which was Cavaliers Magic.
Cavaliers Magic went 7. That's what I was thinking of.
Mm-hmm.
But like all these, like what again, I'm saying this to say that like I felt like the playoffs were never really got like super competitive and super juicy, and so like every team that seemed to advance seemed to like, you know, this is a sliding scale, but there was like a definitive advancement. Like every team that was advancing was like, we're better than you. Yeah, and there were a couple of exceptions, but it was like we're better than you. And so for the Celtics to end the NBA playoffs by saying we are definitively better than you, I think that like underscores how much better they were than the rest of the league.
That's fair. That's well deserved. Are you putting them? I mean, they just cakewalked through the entire league. Are you putting them anywhere in the semblance of one of the best teams to ever do it?
I do think Game 4 hurts that case. I do think you can't have a historic NBA Finals loss, because again we're talking less about like, are the Celtics the best team in this year's NBA, and now you're stacking yourself up against the all-time teams. Yeah, I don't know about that one.
16-3 they were through these playoffs.
But yeah, that sort of speaks for itself, and I do think there's a little bit of the eye test that I'll remember. Like I do think that them being a great team and not just great individuals, and as much as the media is trying to push like Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, which
I can't wait.
We'll open this.
My eyes off the internet.
As much as like it was those two guys, and you know those are the two guys that have been the stars, and those are the two guys that have been around for the longest, and it makes sense why those are the two guys that get talked about. Like the reason the Celtics won is the team. It's the team. It's the team. It's the team. So yeah, in that regard, like that makes me like them more because I don't know. I do think as we said, they play basketball the right way.
The way that Drew Holiday and Derek White contribute.
I can't believe the Thunder and Mavs were sorry.
I think what you're remembering, Game 6 was like an incredible game. It was like
it felt like a Game 7.
Yeah, it was like 117 to like 115 or something like that. And the Mavs
I think I made plans for Game 7. I think that might have been it.
Okay.
Like I had Game 7 was on my schedule, and I was like,
so you just
I will have to do. I put it in my calendar like do not plan anything that night. That will be Game 7 night, and then we didn't get it. Sorry to derail everything with my terrible memory. Yeah, I don't know. It's boring. It's boring. When I keep saying boring, I just mean like for the media types to talk it. Like you can only say the Celtics are great so many times in so many ways. And so what you really want when you're in our position is great moments throughout a game where it's like, oh my God, the last 2 minutes. The game turned on this possession, on this play, and you're getting none of that. It's just like the Celtics are head and shoulders better than everybody, and that is what it is. So it is as deserving of a title as I can remember.
How many minutes of competitive basketball did we see in the NBA Finals?
Yeah.
Because, I know the first couple were like, 8 point? There was a couple 8-point games. There was like an 18-point game. This was obviously a blowout. And then the Mavs win was a 38-point win. The Finals sucked.
Yeah. Yeah,
I don't know.
They kind of did, yeah.
After the first 7 minutes of the first game,
they kind of sucked. Yeah, I mean, if I was not a basketball junkie and I was watching these finals, I would definitely think they sucked for sure. But if I was a Celtics fan, I'd be like, who gives a fuck? It really is. Like the parallels with the Celtics this year and UConn the last couple of years. Are obvious to me.
Do you have any hesitation saying that? Like I'm with you. You want your team to win. This couldn't be as fun as it could have been, though.
It was, I will say, it was weird being in the gambling cave with all those Celtics guys, and it was just sort of a ho-hum, and now they will tell you, well, we're used to winning shit. You're not. You've won one since Larry Bird retired. And like your football team did and all that, and I guess that
the Red Sox have done it. The Bruins have done it.
Sure. But this is different. This should feel different. It's the Boston Celtics that have not, like the Celtics did not. Tom Brady didn't play for the Celtics, like David Ortiz didn't play for the Celtics. So like you would think that like you've won one in a very long stretch, you would be more excited. And I'm not putting the guys we were watching, I'm not putting them down for not being more excited. I think it was just like a foregone conclusion. I think in their mind it was just
they
like,
all knew.
It was just like, yeah.
T-shirts were already on the Barstool
right.
store. No, I think you're right. Some of the best memories of being a fan is, like high five and chest bump and hitting the guy next to you. Whatever.
Yeah.
The loudest that gambling cave was, maybe the entire series, was when Peyton Pritchard hit a 50-footer to put him up by 30 or whatever it was.
Which brings me to MVP. Is it Peyton Pritchard? Because this man was brought into the game,
and
he really brought it twice to hit full court shots, basically. That was insane tonight, though, when they were like, we're going to bring in Peyton Pritchard because there's like 10 seconds left. Less than that, really. And he's going to shoot a half-court shot, and it's going to go in because that's what
there's no other way to put that, right? Like, that is why he went into the game. Because he wasn't in and said, all right, who makes these shots?
I don't know if he played all game before that? I don't think he got in. I think that was his first minutes. I think he was ice cold off the bench. And he gets in and he just bombs a half-quarter.
We had a kid when I was in high school that we had a gym behind our gym, and so whenever it would get to the fourth quarter, all he could do was make free throws. Our coach would have him go warm up in the gym behind the gym and said, "You're our free throw guy." Never played the rest of the time. I like that better for the half court shot though.
Yeah.
Pritchard, get in. We got a half court shot coming.
So if you're Peyton Pritchard this offseason, are you more or less inclined to practice half court shots? Like, what if that just becomes your thing? Like are you? Do you get in the gym and you're like, all right, the way I can make a difference for this team moving forward is I can just be the half-court shot guy, or are you like, I hate that I'm the half-court shot guy. I'm a better player than just the half-court shot guy.
What's Pritchard's contract? What's he bringing in? Because there is 4 years, $30 million. Do you think he makes more doing that or touring the state of Indiana, going high school halftime to high school halftime, raking in like a free large pizza? Wouldn't that be
more lucrative?
A traveling circus.
He's just like a halftime show. He's like, I will now make this half court shot. Watch this, and then by God, he makes it. You're just like, damn.
We had that. If you hit a half court shot, large pizza, he might have to never pay for a meal again.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
I'm ruling him off.
You want to talk about MVP?
I'm crossing him off.
It's not Peyton Pritchard. It's got to obviously be one of the two for Boston, right?
But I do want to revisit real quick, and we will cross him off. There was a time where we on this show said Porzingis.
Yeah.
I mean, dead, but
Yeah, it was dead, but
there was a time.
There was a time. It was game 1.
When he
when
made the most
He was
impact.
crazy. It can't be Porzingis. I
Cross
would say if Drew Holiday, now I know part of me expects it to be Drew Holiday. I don't think Drew Holiday should win it. I think if Drew Holiday did win MVP by some act of God, I don't think that would be the most egregious MVP of all time? It's still Andre Iguodala. Would that be more or less egregious than Andre Iguodala? Drew Holiday won Finals MVP.
It would be less egregious. It would be extremely shocking to me.
It would be shocking.
He should be the EVP. He is an extremely valuable player this year.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
But it would be less egregious because he is extremely important in this series. But
I think point blank that the Celtics don't win without Drew Holiday and Porzingis. Without those trades, without those moves, they do not win. I don't think they win the NBA championship.
De facto MVP,
Brad Stevens. It's Brad Stevens.
It always goes back to Stevens.
It's got to be Brad Stevens.
We'll cross Holiday off though.
Yeah, it's Brown or Tatum, obviously.
What do you think?
Do
a think and do a deserve.
My vote. So I think it's going to be Jason Tatum. I think Jason Tatum has. I think that like he is the face of the franchise. I think that he wanted it badly. I think the end of this game tonight was hilarious at how badly Jason Tatum wanted it. And people that like Jason Tatum will tell you he was just trying to put the final daggers in the Mavs. I would say the daggers had been in the Mavs. The daggers were
Pritchard killed
their
the
body. Their body was ice cold, but they didn't need any more daggers. And Jason Tatum was like, "Watch this! I'm gonna go iso ball and get my points." And you know he was scoring, so it's like not bad shots. It wasn't like he was chucking and bricking everything, and you're just like, "All right, well this is getting disgusting." But at the same time, I was like, we all know what's going on here. But I think the media wants it to be Tatum. I think the Boston Celtics, if you ask the Celtics players if they could vote, they would want it to be Tatum. I think Jason Tatum wants it to be Tatum.
That's obvious.
I think everybody. I think the forces at play just want it to be Jason Tatum. I think the league wants it to be Jason Tatum. I think everything wants it. I think everybody wants it to be Jason Tatum. Does Jaylen Brown care as much as Jason Tatum? No.
So then it has to be Tatum.
So I think it has to be Tatum for that reason. But if I'm voting Brown for the same reasons I voted Brown in my own head for a long time now. I think Jaylen Brown excites me more as a basketball fan. When I watch Jaylen Brown, I get more excited. I think he does. Praising Jaylen Brown oftentimes comes across as criticism of Tatum. That's not what I'm doing at all. It's just like Jaylen Brown has that extra level. I think like even things as small as like when they're both mic'd up and you listen to how they talk to the rest of the team. Like I think Jaylen Brown's like a better leader. I think like the basketball player in me like wants to be teammates with Jaylen Brown more than I want to be teammates with Jason Tatum.
So who anointed Jason Tatum the guy for the Celtics?
Adam Silver. He's a Duke guy. It's the Duke Mafia at play here. It's a Duke thing. That's all it is.
Okay. Well,
this goes all the way to the top, Tate. This is Coach K. This is Coach K propaganda.
This is
Adam Silver, and who went to Duke. Mm-hmm. Did you know that?
I did know that.
You knew that.
But I'm anti-Silver tonight. I'll say that. David Stern makes this go 6 games.
David Stern
makes this go 6 games.
Yeah.
Silver didn't call in the shots tonight.
I don't know how you could make it go 6 games. I don't know how you get what else could you have done?
You know what you do? You forgot already. You reverse the call on Luka in game 3 on the charge. And then And then you give them another one for the hip check on the moving screen. You got to pull a string somehow.
You got to go back to game 3. I mean, that was the time to pull the strings. Tonight, Luka. Tonight, if the refs were trying to give the game to the Mavericks, Luka would have been like, "I'm tired, dude. I don't want to."
Yeah, no, thank you.
Luka's like, "What are you doing?" They're like, "We're trying to give you another game." He's like, "Another fucking game, dude?
Have you seen?
I gotta play.
I weigh.
I want to get this over with.
Do this.
What are we doing?" So that's my prediction. Is I think if I got to vote, I would have voted Jaylen Brown. I would have done so without really thinking about it. Which is not to put down Tatum. I think Brown had like the series by the balls too. Like Tatum would float around, would pick his spots. He would still get his. He would still have an impact on the game. but there wasn't. The kids are using aura, right, Lucas? Lucas is filling in for TJ tonight. You're younger than me. You count as a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, aura is like the word.
Oh, yeah.
Jaylen Brown has like the aura that Tatum doesn't have. Where like you're watching the Celtics and you're like Jaylen Brown is just fucking dunking on dudes and like locking guys up.
That's what we got to mention.
And he's got like there's the juice to the game when Jaylen Brown is rolling that I don't necessarily feel with Jason Tatum, and I think that matters. And for that reason, I've always been more of a Jaylen Brown guy, so I would vote for Jaylen Brown. That's my take. What say you, Tate?
I would say so. I have one clarifying question. Have you ever voted in an award type setting like this? Like, has your say ever mattered?
Yes, I voted for the 2019 Maui Invitational MVP.
Thank you.
It was huge. It was I think Doka Azubuike. Did I give to him or Devon Dotson? I can't remember.
I forget.
I can't remember who won.
Those.
I think they won. You get those guys mixed up. I think they won co-MVPs. I think we actually split it. They might have won co-MVPs.
So you are an experienced voter, and you say with those reasons that you would have voted Jaylen Brown.
Yep.
I will counter with this. I am also an experienced MVP voter. I once chose the Licking County League high school girls basketball all-star game MVP.
Oh.
I would take Jaylen Brown. He was better in 3 of the 4 games. Jason Tatum shot terribly, and then you had to construct arguments, which he did. He did other things without the ball in his hands, but you had to go construct arguments as to why he was still playing well. What?
No, I'm going to back you up because I just got excited as you said that.
Am I right?
No, as you said that, I just got excited because I realized that if you're someone who thinks Tatum should win MVP, you have to work a lot harder to convince people than if you're someone who thinks Brown.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you think Jaylen Brown should win MVP, you're just like, yeah, he was the best player, and you just kind of leave it at that. And if you think Jason Tatum should win MVP, you're like, look at the stats. So he's the first player, and you have to like really bust open
I also think
all the stats.
I think one thing that might not show up in the scorebook that everyone wants to look at these stats. You said it. Jaylen Brown locked up in the biggest moments.
Yeah.
Like we're sitting here talking about, okay, the Celtics had a dominant run. Why? Well, they ran into a team that maybe Kyrie and Luka were a little more overrated than we thought. They also ran into Jaylen Brown playing defense.
Mm-hmm.
And then also, I don't think this is going to matter, but it matters to me, and I think it would matter to you. It is so obvious that Jason Tatum wanted it that I don't want to give it to him.
Yeah,
like
that does matter actually.
Like
I think that factors into it.
So for that reason, I would say 2 people now have Jaylen Brown. Why can't the people that are making the decision? Like, what is different about those people?
This is a great point, Tate. This is a great point. It's going to be Jaylen Brown. It's going to be Jaylen Brown. I take back my prediction that it's going to be Tatum because I think reason is going to shine through and it's going to be Jaylen Brown. And I think Jaylen Brown won MVP and Tatum. I think that the Celtics will spend a lot of time. Like, I don't think Jaylen Brown will be put on a pedestal by the franchise like that. I think it'll be it'll be all the team thing. I think when they do the parade, it'll all be like a team thing. Like, it won't be, and it'll be like Jaylen Brown will just turn to Tatum and throw his arm around and be like, "You're up here with me. This is our trophy."
I like that, Titus.
And I think that's how they'll handle it.
Because I think
it's Jaylen Brown.
I think it's Jaylen Brown too, and I think you're right that if it is Jaylen Brown, there is no beef. Jaylen Brown will be the first person to say, it's these guys around me. If it is Jason Tatum, the narrative surrounding this is it's a Mickey Mouse Finals MVP because everyone knows it wasn't Jason Tatum.
That's true, yeah.
So why create the controversy?
It's got to be Jaylen Brown. Should we open it? This is breaking news. Nobody watching even has any idea. Nobody knows. Dude, are they in Boston right now waiting for us to reveal this so they can give the trophy out?
Silver told Cody.
They're all like, please just open.
Just please, for the love of God, we want to go home.
The aura
do it
thing, like
do it Survivor style.
How does that?
Like, where you show, like, you open it and you say, and the Finals MVP is.
Hold on. How do they? Hold on. Do it. Like,
you know what I'm talking about.
I don't watch Survivor, dude.
Come on, dude. You make your vote.
Okay.
Say I was voting for Titus.
Oh.
And then you say, you open it and you say, in your 2024 Finals MVP is. Lucas gets the camera zoomed in.
And then you show it like that.
Mark-titus.
Okay. The winner of American Idol. That's my Ryan Seacrest.
I didn't see that coming.
Ruben Studdard. Did he win?
Did he win?
He beat Clay Aiken, right?
Did Clay Aiken beat Ruben Studdard?
There's no way of knowing. That's kind of crazy. We don't remember who won that.
I mean, we're in like season.
That was like the most important. That was when they were. As an aside, we'll take a time. We'll get to the MVP in a second. But those of you in Boston, just hold on for a second. That was probably the most important thing in my life at the time. Was Ruben Studdard and Clay Aiken, who's going to win this?
I went to the tour. Like they all like when there was like 8 people left, they came to Cleveland. Me and my mom went.
I'm not sure I've ever been more invested in anything in my life, and yet as I sit here today in 2024, I cannot tell you who won.
Breaking news.
It was Ruben?
Ruben Studdard.
It was Ruben. The winner of American Idol. I love the Seacrest voice when you do that. All right, enough of that. Enough nonsense. The 2024 NBA Finals MVP is it's Jaylen Brown. It's Jaylen Brown. We did it.
We really did it.
We did it.
We really did it.
That makes me happy.
That is a win. That shows that we know ball.
That's yeah.
Because, and let me tell you this, not everyone, I don't know if you guys were all watching the Gambling Cave before this. We were sitting in there, and it was 99.9. I think every other person in there said Jason Tatum was winning.
I said Jason Tatum.
I know.
And
then we talked it out.
we talked it out.
We talked it out.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's the right MVP. I'm happy with that. Other things I'm happy with, Al Horford. You and I are both Buckeyes. Al Horford and the 2007 Florida Gators did cheat to win.
It's very well known. Very well documented.
Back-to-back championships that they won a title. They brought back 5 starters. Will never happen again in college basketball. And I don't know how they afforded to bring all those guys back, but you have to imagine there's a little
which was illegal at the time.
Illegal at the time.
I don't know if you know that.
Illegal at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, like I'm turning down cream cheese on my bagel because we're at Ohio State we do things above board.
Sans tattoos, but other than that,
yeah.
Were you there? You were there for Tattoo State?
Yeah,
Tattoo Day?
yeah. It was my senior year. Yeah.
Did you get any hand in the cookie jar with that or no?
I did. I got a tattoo. I don't know if I can
for
reveal it on air. We might get taken down.
Paid for by Jim Tressel?
Yeah. I mean, it was just paid for. Yeah. By the
you traded in your
just
BCS,
traded my
right?
shit. Yeah, my but yeah, Al Horford is a guy who I should not like, Tate. Al Horford denied me a chance to be a national champion. And if you think I'm insufferable now, which I am, doing this show, imagine if I had like a national championship ring that I could just anytime anybody talks shit to me.
What would you be if you did have a national
my dick? I have a national championship.
Where would it be right now?
On my finger. It would be on my finger.
15
I think
years later.
I would just wear it on my finger at all times.
That's the biggest.
Every time
respect.
I'm on air, I would just wear my national championship ring. I'd be like, all of you suck my dick.
And you would do a lot of this too.
Yeah.
Now
and everyone would be like, you scored 9 points in your career. And I'd be like, suck my dick. And they'd be like, yeah, but Titus, you. And I'd say, suck my dick. And I would just do that nonstop. Anyway, I preface with that just to say that Al Horford is a guy who on paper I should not like, and yet I find myself cheering for him, and I think he's an awesome dude. And to see him be in the league for 17 years and finally – he was second behind Karl Malone. Did you know that?
I didn't know this.
Most playoff games in NBA history without winning a championship, Al Horford. It was Karl Malone 1, Al Horford 2, John Stockton 3. Now Al Horford crossed off the list. He has won his NBA championship.
So I have a question for that then. When did he go from rival hatred to extremely likable and you're happy you won a championship? Like what year? Because it would be very fair for you to say he withheld me from getting a championship. I don't like that guy.
I still don't like I still don't like Noah. Joakim Noah. I don't like him.
Who does?
Yeah, I don't like him.
I don't like him at all.
I don't like him. He was a bad guy. Bad guy.
Thought so at the time?
Yeah.
What was the thoughts?
I didn't like him at all.
Are you allowed to say what was the thoughts in the locker room like heading into like no one liked that motherfucker, right?
Joakim Noah?
Yeah.
No, dude.
Like,
of course not.
like-
I mean, you know what?
As hateable as you can.
There's only one guy that I remember liking him, and it was Greg Oden, which like really pissed me off.
Why?
I don't know. He was just like, Joakim's cool. I like him. And I was like, what? You can't do that, Greg. He's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Greg had the ability to do that. Like he would like you off the court, and then he could step between the lines and like try to rip your fucking face off. But yeah, we didn't like him. But I don't know. They beat us.
Yeah.
But I don't know when I flipped that switch and started to like Al Horford. I don't know. You start to like pay attention to guys, and then you start questioning. I mean, you're seeing this with golf right now with Bryson DeChambeau, where I think people are just kind of like, why did I hate this guy again?
Yeah.
Like you
I've
have to
done
like
the fool.
like there are, as you watch guys throughout their career, you have to, unless it's somebody that's continuing to like remind you of why they're detestable. you get to a point where you're like, maybe I'm the bad guy for hating him. Like maybe I'm the douchebag.
so bad.
Yeah, like he's not that bad. And Al Horford was one of those guys. So I'm happy to see Al Horford.
What's the move for Horford now? Because he has one more year on his deal, I believe. $10 million, but man.
Yeah, it feels storybook to go out now.
You can quote me on this. If I ever win an NBA title, I'm riding.
You're just riding off in the sunset.
Yep, I will not come back after I win.
The problem is the money's so good now that I don't know this to be true, but I'm just thinking out loud here that a lot of the guys that used to ride off into the sunset were older and were not. Well, obviously they're always older, but like they're older in the sense that like they weren't making a ton of money. They're on the tail end of their career salary
so
wise.
They weren't turning down
$10 million. Like the money in the NBA has gotten insane to where. I don't know. Al Horford's probably like, as a storybook ending, yeah, I absolutely want to retire. But also, one more year of basketball for $10 million more plus the opportunity to go back-to-back. And even if we don't go back-to-back, is it really going to undo the championship I just won? Probably not.
Career earnings of $275 million. Do you think they can go back-to-back? I mean, they've got to be the heavy favorites going into next year. Coming out of the Eastern Conference is going to be much easier than what's coming out of the West. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I think they gotta obviously be the favorites out of the East. Yeah, I don't know. The NBA's in a good spot though, as far as like the playoffs stunk this year, and people are upset about that. But yeah, as you look to next year, there are a lot of teams that feel like they're right there in the mix, and that's interesting. And I think the idea, like the years of the Cavs and the Warriors being a foregone conclusion, are gone.
That's
like,
totally.
I don't think it's.
If I told you right now, Thunder, Mavericks, Clippers, T-Wolves, Suns,
Nuggets.
Yeah, I didn't even say the Nuggets.
Yeah,
and then don't forget the Lakers might be adding
Bronny.
Another LeBron.
Yeah,
James.
once they get
if you have two LeBron James,
like one LeBron James. How about another one? Here's another one. You see the chatter. I mean, the chatter's been going on for a while, but I think he's getting drafted. I really think he's getting drafted.
By who?
I'm pretty sure he's getting drafted.
This seems like a dumb.
I don't think he's getting drafted first round, but I think he's getting drafted.
This seems like a dumb question because like I know the answer in my brain. If he was not named LeBron James Jr.
Mm-hmm.
0% chance.
0% chance, yeah. Or if LeBron came out and said, I don't give a shit about my son. And
if LeBron James, father of three, said that.
If he was like, actually, as it turns out, I kind of hate my son, and like I don't ever want to be on the same team as him. He doesn't get drafted.
Then he doesn't get drafted.
Yeah.
He rightfully doesn't get drafted. But no, I'm with you. But now there's teams starting to pick up. Like the Mavericks are rumored to be in the mix. He worked out for the Lakers. I think he worked out for the Suns. How would you like to? Do you think you could control who you work out? Like Bronny James is out there being like the 55th prospect in the draft.
He's picking
being like, I'm turning down everyone except for these two teams.
Well, there's levels to it and there's layers to it with like the LeBron could theoretically leave LA. The Lakers need a coach. I don't know how much say LeBron has in who they're hiring. I know he respects Dan. JJ Redick feels like the LeBron play. Dan Hurley, as was reported, did take the job. And then he untook the job. But there for a second, he took the job. And I don't know, is LeBron upset about that or is he not? Because he does seem to respect Dan Hurley and he likes coaches that, I think there is a level of respect for Dan Hurley and his understanding of the game and his X's and O's and all that. So maybe LeBron was on board with Dan Hurley, and now maybe he's mad that Dan Hurley's not going to be the coach. Maybe he wants JJ. Maybe he doesn't want JJ. I don't really know, but maybe there's behind the scenes, LeBron doesn't have as much say in who the next coach is going to be as previously thought. Now we'll find out in the coming days. JJ Redick has been calling these NBA finals. That assignment's over.
Yep, that ended.
Suddenly he's very available. We'll see in the next few days. Like I have to imagine if JJ Redick is supposed to be the next coach of the Lakers, that will happen within the next
you would think so.
4 or 5 days.
He said you'll hear about it after the finals.
Yeah.
They need a coach.
But how much say does LeBron have in that? If he doesn't have enough say that makes him happy, does he want to leave LA? And if he does and Bronny gets drafted by the Dallas Mavericks, do the Dallas Mavericks want to bring LeBron in? What are the other teams he was working out for? The Suns? The Suns were one. Do they want to try to get LeBron?
Bring him home to Cleveland?
Bring him home to Cleveland. I don't know.
Or if you're just like the Detroit Pistons, do you realize like everything about our franchise sucks? Like let's
just take a swing. Yeah.
Like, hey LeBron, we have your son.
Yeah, but you have all those teams in the West. You have, I mean, the Bucks as long as Giannis and Dame are there, like the Bucks, you have to take seriously. I know, Giannis got hurt though this year, so like I think the Bucks side of it is like we're still we're still right there. Like you guys are lucky that Giannis was out, or else we would have won the title this year. The Sixers will keep being Charlie Brown trying to kick the football and believe that are
we still in?
They're right in the mix.
Are we in on the Knicks?
I'm in on the Knicks. As I don't think the Knicks can win the NBA championship. I do think the Knicks next year theoretically could beat the Celtics in the second round and upset the like kind of what the Heat did last year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they could be like the spoiler, but they're not good enough to do that.
Yeah.
They can't do that 4 rounds against 4 playoff teams, but they could do it in one playoff series and play spoiler and like fuck up the whole back-to-back.
The Magic should also be coming.
Magic should be better.
They're young.
Yeah.
We're talking about all these teams that could possibly win, and we just had them.
What are the odds out? What does DraftKings say right now?
I will take the Celtics to be the heavy favorites.
Yeah, they about have to be. But how heavy is what I'm curious about, Tate. That's what I want to see answered. Celtics are on DraftKings right now. Celtics are plus 280. Do you want to take a guess at who number 2 is?
Yeah.
In the entire NBA.
Yes. I would say, in my brain, that the West is there's so much parity in the West that it's going to be a substantial drop from what the Celtics were. And I am going to say that the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Wrong. They are 4th.
Wow.
There are 2 teams above the Minnesota Timberwolves, according to DraftKings, for next year's NBA championship.
It is going to be the Denver Nuggets.
Denver Nuggets are 2nd.
They're 2nd?
Yep, plus 700.
Is the 3rd also in the West?
3rd is also in the West.
Thunder,
plus
really?
800. And the Timberwolves and Bucks are both plus 850.
Do you have
then Mavs are plus 900.
Can I get a Suns and Lakers just for fun? And do you have that?
Lakers plus 2,000, Suns plus 2,200, which puts the Lakers at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11th in the NBA, and the Suns at 12th. 12th best odds.
You still haven't pulled up?
I do.
You give me a Cavs, just a little sprinkle.
Cavs plus 4,000, right there at the Indiana.
Value.
Right there at the Indiana Pacers.
Listen, I didn't want to. You told me. I'm with you. I need to not just be Cleveland all the time. I think the Cavs are going to be good next year. I'm telling you, we're keeping the core together. I'm telling you, I didn't want to put in the conversation. Cavs are going to be good next year.
Charlotte Hornets plus 100,000, Brooklyn Nets plus 100,000, Detroit Pistons, Washington Wizards, Portland Trailblazers, Utah Jazz, all plus 100,000. Raptors plus 90,000.
Ooh.
Spurs plus 15,000. A little wimpy action. There you go. Yeah. So there you have it. And the Celtics won the championship.
Did you congratulate them? Did you congratulate them?
The Celtics?
Yes.
No, I don't know if I have. I'll take a second to do that. Congratulations to the Boston Celtics on winning the NBA championship. Banner number 18 is on its way. This is a big day for the city of Boston. The best team won. I mean, the Celtics were the best team all season. They proved that throughout the regular season. They were great offensively. They were great defensively. I think there were games throughout the playoffs that they won with their offense. They would not miss threes. They were hitting everything. The ball was humming. Every guy that was on the floor was seemingly unguardable. And then there were nights like tonight where I felt like it was more of the defensive end. I felt like that was more of what got them through. And to me, when you have a basketball team that can play great offense, when you have a basketball team that can play great defense, when you have a basketball team that everybody on the floor can do both, where the ball is moving, where they're helping the helper, where they're just one cohesive unit, where there's no super duper star, which again, for the 10 trillionth time, is not a slight on Jaylen Brown, is not a slight on Jason Tatum, but I do think these Boston Celtics are one of the, if you're looking at the best player on a title-winning team, I think they might have the worst best player of at least 20 years since the 04 Pistons. You could throw in like the 14 Spurs, maybe a 22-year-old Kawhi, 23-year-old Kawhi, however old, a young Kawhi, an old Duncan, who was the best. It was Kawhi won in Finals MVP. You get the point, Tate. The point is that we're used to seeing NBA champions have a super duper upper echelon. Like, is this guy a top 5, top 10 guy of all time? I don't think that any of the guys on the Celtics roster will ultimately get to that level, which is not a slight on them. It is, in fact, a compliment that this is a very, very deep team that plays great team basketball. And for that reason, I would like to do the following. I would like to congratulate the Boston Celtics.
I'm glad you said that, Titus. There's people that say you hate on the Celtics, but watching these games with you, You're a Celtics fan.
I might be a Celtics fan. I'm a Brad Stevens fan. I'll admit that much.
Mhm.
I am a Brad
Congrats to
Stevens
him as well.
fan. One more thing before we go. I want to pivot to college basketball because the big news of college basketball this week, Coleman Hawkins committed to Kansas State for $2 million. That's the report. Now, it's a twofold thing. Number one, do we believe that? Where are these numbers coming from? Number two, would you spend $2 million on a guy who was who averaged 12 points a game?
I don't know where 12.6 rebounds a game.
Yeah.
The first thing I would do. So who makes this decision, first of all? Are we acting like
I think what's happening now, and this is going to be interesting moving forward in the next few years. I don't know how long we're going to have this Wild West system, though, but however long this Wild West system continues to exist, what will be interesting is I think now is one of the stronger times for players where they have the most leverage because teams are panicking a little bit that if you don't have a full roster put together and you're a skilled big man, and Coleman Hawkins is good. His highlight reel is good. We'll put it that way. He can throw the ball all over the gym. He can make some very stupid plays, but he's 6'11". He can put the ball on the floor. Great passer. Can step out and shoot. And I think that what happened is Kansas State is like they're going to have a good team next year, but I think they were like, shit, we have a chance late to add this piece. We got to take a big swing. Whereas if all of this was happening in March or April, they're not offering $2 million.
Well, so he is good. Obviously good player. 20th ranked on the big board of transfer portals, and he's coming away as the highest paid NIL college basketball player in the transfer portal
of all time. But also, Great Osabor went to Washington for $2 million, is what they reported, and that was the highest of all time
as well.
So this is, I think we just have the highest of all time.
He benefited from making his decision late. What he benefited from was being the best on the board.
Right.
Like you said, Kansas State feels we are a piece away or 2 pieces away from a legitimate run. Let's go get our guy.
Let's take a look at the menu. There's not a lot of good shit on the menu right now. There's not a lot of good shit, but that Coleman Hawkins is looking pretty tasty.
Does he make you a national title contender? Does he? Isn't that what you have to spend $2 million on?
Well, that's what's like breaking my brain is you now have if these numbers are to be believed, and again, I don't know who's reporting this. I don't know if the agents are floating this. The interesting part about Coleman Hawkins is he is on record with quotes of saying I don't want to be the most highly paid player because I think that's too much pressure on me, and I just don't want all of that target on my back.
I don't want you to have to go through that, Coleman.
Yeah. And then he goes and becomes a $2 million guy. So I don't know who's reporting this. I don't know if this is his people reporting this. I don't know. I still haven't quite figured that out with all this NIL shit. But it just blows my mind that if these numbers are to be believed, you have two guys who this offseason are reportedly getting $2 million, and neither one of them are All-Americans. In fact, neither one of them were really close to All-Americans. Great Osabor was probably closer this past season than Coleman Hawkins was. But I would have guessed that a $2 million, if you're spending $2 million, you get one player for a year.
Be the reigning
it's like Zach Edey,
right?
Yeah, it's like you're getting a Zach Edey type. You're getting RJ Davis at North Carolina.
Correct, and they're just not.
Yeah.
Where are they getting this war chest of an NIL fund?
I don't know.
What's Kansas State's deal? Yeah.
Who's the billionaire alums there?
I don't know. What do they have? Wheat. The wheat.
I don't know. You got to compete with Kansas. I mean, Kansas has had a hell of an offseason. So, yeah.
Do you know what a first round pick? Last pick in the first round NBA.
Last pick in the first round. It's a guaranteed contract.
Yep.
It's a guaranteed 3-year contract. Is it 3 years?
I just have the player slots. Yeah, it's 3 years.
Okay, it's a 3-year
3
contract. I want to say they make 1.7.
So they make 2 and then 2.1 and then 2.2. So he just agreed to get to go back to college and get paid more than the entire second round, and he's like a first round pick.
So if you don't get a first round grade, you might as well just go back to college if you can get that kind of money.
Does that make it good for college basketball? Are people going to, or does it make it bad?
Well, this is the debate with this stuff is what does good mean? Does good mean talented players? Because if that's the case, then yeah, it's going to make it very good. You're gonna have a year next season where you have a bunch of guys that people recognize
Mm-hmm.
in terms of their name, brand, and their value in that. And like R.J. Davis is a great example. He's gonna be in North Carolina next year, and like that's exciting. That's fucking
No, it's awesome.
That's
It's
awesome
awesome.
for the sport to bring guys like that back. But then other people are like, no, what makes college basketball good is like dudes playing 4 years and getting the fuck out and
Yeah.
like not chasing bags and all
Well,
that.
that's
sort of
just
thing.
that. Unfortunately, that's.
But
just a
that's not
pipe
going
dream,
away.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I hate everything about it. I think you know my feelings on that. I would rather cheer for less skilled, less polished. Like, all right, let all the best players go into the NBA. I would rather cheer for the teams that I recognize the guy in the same colored jersey 3-4
Yeah.
years in a row because that's my school or that's their brand of basketball instead of this just mercenary. Oh, you'll give me $2 million to go to the
Yeah.
Big 12. Okay, you'll give me $2 million to go out to this team. I hate everything about it.
Yeah, what sucks is like Coleman Hawkins is a good example of like he very much loved Illinois and Illinois loved him, and yet he somehow quote unquote he's not
Yeah,
going back
he
to
also
Illinois, and we
loved
know
$2
some
million.
because of the $2 million.
You can retire off NIL money now. Like you could, like obviously you're going to try and continue, but like, dude, you make $2 million at 18 to 22 years old.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
That's crazy. There's people I know like that's not a bajillion dollars, but there's people that won't touch $2 million.
There are
their
dudes that
entire
are
life.
going to be leaving college basketball with like $5+ million. They've made $5 million already.
How?
And yeah, again, like if you're that good to get that much money, you would imagine that you have an NBA future. But that's what's so interesting about this is like Coleman Hawkins. Yeah, he could play in the NBA for sure. I think he'll get a chance, but
Mhm.
he's not an obvious future NBA player.
Have you talked to anyone about a salary cap? Like, are we anywhere close?
Yeah, I think that is something that is being talked about for sure, and I think they're kicking the tires on that. That's why I said earlier, like the Wild West, like the transferring is not going to stop, the offering money is not going to stop. Like the schools can pay directly now, but there still aren't enough guidelines and enough. And it doesn't have to be a system that like levels the playing field. Like some people are like no salary cap because it's like that doesn't make any sense. Like, you know, let the bigger schools have always had an advantage over the smaller
Correct.
schools. So like, why are we trying to pretend like they don't?
Mm-hmm.
But there is going to be within the next 5 years they are going to put like some sort of
There
system
has
in
to be a
place.
change, yeah.
What makes this era we're in right now so fucking crazy is there's like no rules. There's not, and guys are eligible forever, and you can transfer as many times as you want, and there's just and you know, some people think that's best for the players and all that. Maybe it is, but I don't think that's sustainable, and I think that at some point they have to figure out, like you'll still have guys being offered $2 million to transfer, but the guidelines and the framework with which how that goes about, and like if schools are paying directly, now you have to sign contracts directly with schools. I don't know. I continue to say, and people think I'm crazy, but I continue to say, like, I don't see a total end game for this other than just you basically are the NBA now. You're just like a minor league
Minor
NBA.
leagues NBA.
You're a minor league NFL, minor league NBA.
It's sad. That's sad.
But anyway, Coleman Hawkins, $2 million. Doesn't want to be the highest paid player. Let me get some of that, and you won't be. You know, that's
Yeah.
what I say. Just give me some of your money, and now you won't be the highest paid player.
If you need someone to shoulder that burden,
Yeah.
I'll be him.
Yeah, as the highest paid employee at Barstool, it is tough. I have a huge target. It doesn't work as much when you're sitting there. I like running that shtick with Brandon.
Yeah,
Brandon actually worried. Like Brandon, I start talking about salaries, and he's over there texting his agent, like, "What the fuck?
Yeah, what's
dude?
going on with Titus?"
It doesn't work as much with you, Tate. It's not as funny. Anything else before we go? What else did we forget? I mean, the Mavericks, Luka stunk. I don't think Luka. I think Luka can win championships and MVPs, and like I don't think this is his defining moment for his career forever. But boy, this stinks right now.
Stinks
like he
for
was
him.
bad in the finals.
Left everyone with a bad taste in his mouth.
Very bad taste.
And
yeah.
I mean, I'm again unbiased here. Kyrie was terrible, and the narrative that ever since he stomped on Lucky, and what's he now? So they won one game, and I think he's like 1-13 or 1-14.
Yeah.
Kyrie had his moment in the sun about a series ago where it's like Kyrie's I mean, we did it on the show.
Yeah.
We fell into that.
Yeah.
We fell into that.
Yeah.
We didn't. He's changed as a person. He's changed as a player. That's the same old Kyrie right there.
You're so right though. They were really pushing like are Luka and Kyrie the most talented backcourt in NBA history?
And we were talking about his leadership and his – come on, dude. He's still out there taking bad shots, making bad shots, which make you look worse. I don't know.
Yeah. He does love taking bad shots. He can't make wide open shots.
Yeah, he got some. He missed them, and then he takes bad shots.
He feels like he can't make wide open shots. He needs to just make it harder on himself. Derek White lost his tooth. That was cool. Or chipped his tooth.
Worth it, right?
Yeah.
Does that hit the resale market, or what do you think?
The chipped tooth?
Wouldn't you think some weirdo out there? What do you think
what
that
happened
goes
to that
for?
tooth?
I mean, that tooth goes to the trainer.
Yeah.
That trainer puts that on eBay, and some weirdo.
Do you think the guys on the team are sickos enough to know that though? Like I think you and I might think of that, but like,
That's
do you
the
think the
first thing
trainer?
Yeah.
You think the trainer's like, I'm gonna grab his tooth and like slip it in my sock so I can take it home with me and then sell it?
My answer is yes. My answer is absolutely. These dudes ain't out there making $10 million a year. They're out there waiting for. He was like, "Damn, I wish Tatum would have chipped it too." Now that would go for MVP Jaylen Brown's.
Do we have Lucas? Do we have the picture of Tatum doing the Kobe pose yet?
I was looking earlier. I'll check his Instagram again, but
that'll be the biggest upset in basketball history if that picture doesn't happen.
I just refreshed his Instagram. It's not up. I'll check Twitter a little.
Must have bad service in the locker room.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's happened already. Yeah, I don't know. Celtics were good, very deserving. Congrats to Boston, banner number 18. That's basically all I got to say about that. I wish the finals were more entertaining than they were. Thought they were going to be. I thought Luka being the best player on the floor would. I don't think he wasn't the best player on the floor.
He was not.
He was definitively not the best player on the floor.
And I think the thought coming into it was, I mean, I was feeling it was. Are the Mavericks going to have maybe players 1 and 2, but then the Celtics have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9? No, I think the Celtics had 1, 2,
maybe 3.
4.
3, yeah. No, not 3. 1, 2.
1, 2, 4.
1, 2, 4, 5. Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good for them. Hey, is there any chance that with a bad, what's that saying? It's like with a bad NBA Finals comes a very competitive Olympics. Is that?
That's what my father taught me. I don't know if that's just a Midwest thing, but that's what Dad always told me was it's a harbinger. How do you say that word? Harbinger.
Yeah, something about like.
How do you say that word? Harbinger? Is it a hard G? Harbing. God damn it! I hate taking big swings on words.
Yeah, I wish you.
Why do you
nailed
do
that?
that?
I didn't mean to do that.
Hard. Let me see. Where's that like AI bitch that says the word out loud for you? Here it is.
Also, I do have a fun fact about Al Horford. He's been in the league since the day after the first iPhone came out.
Oh, no shit.
Cody wanted me to say that one.
Oh, good stat, Cody. You're on fire right now.
Harbinger.
That's a harbinger.
A person or thing that announces or signals the approach of another. A bad NBA Finals is a harbinger for a great Olympics. That's what Dad always said.
It's just like Punxsutawney Phil.
That's what Dad always said. Tate, thanks for doing this. This was something. This was fun. I had a good time. I wish there's more meat on the bone to talk about. Once we kind of like buried Luka for being fat and lazy in Game 3,
we killed him.
It was kind of done. There was already dirt on the grave. It was kind of hard to. It's kind of hard at Game 5 to go back and bring more dirt to the grave, throw it on him. But we tried our best. Thanks to everybody watching. Thanks to everybody listening. That's it. Congrats to the Celtics. We'll see you guys.